The inn had settled into its usual hush. Teacups washed, windows shut, lights low. Only the occasional creak of old wood betrayed that time still passed there. Elodie couldn't sleep. Not from restlessness, just fullness. Her mind was soft with thoughts. Her chest heavier with something like meaning. She stepped out quietly, wrapped in a blanket shawl. The air smelled of rain and rosemary. The moon was low and glowing, casting silver over the garden. And there, leaning against the garden gate, arms folded, eyes turned skyward, was Jonah. He didn't look surprised to see her. He never did. Like she was part of the place now. "I figured you'd be out here," he said softly. "I figured you would too." No more words were needed for a while. They just walked, side by side, through the sleeping garden. The air between them warm despite the chill. Every step was quiet, careful, but not afraid. They walked the stone path they'd planted time on. They passed the lavender rose they'd once trimmed in silence. And at the far back behind the old bench, past the crumbling arch, they found something. Another letter. No moss this time. No ivy. This one was different. It was new. Elodie bent down and picked it up. The envelope was tucked inside a small jar, sealed with wax and care. She looked at Jonah. He looked at her. Inside was a single page, written in that same flowing handwriting. To the two who finally met in the middle. "You found each other. Good. I always hoped someone would. You might think these letters were love notes from a woman long gone. But they weren't all from me. Not really. Some I wrote. Some I found. Some I planted. This garden heals people. It's why I stayed here all these years. Why I left letters like stepping stones for the broken, the brave, the curious, and the stubborn. And now, for you two, don't rush, don't define, just be. Let love come when it's ready, not when you're trying to force it into bloom." Signed simply, Mao. Jonah read it twice. "Elodie?" She just nodded, eyes stinging a little. "Mrs. Winslow." He looked back toward the inn. That sweet, nosy, cinnamon-scented woman who always just happened to know what tea you needed. The one who coincidentally found every letter Elodie was ready for. She hadn't just run the inn. She'd curated a love story. Or maybe more than one. Later that night, they sat on the bench in silence. No hand-holding, no kiss, no fireworks. Just two people in the moonlight, hearts quietly unfolding like night-blooming jasmine. Not together, not yet, but closer than they'd ever been. Elodie didn't sleep that night. Not in the restless, tossing way. In the way where your heart is too full of thoughts and your body's too still to do anything but feel. She watched the shadows move across her ceiling, heard the soft hush of the wind brushing the ivy outside, and she thought about the letter, the garden, Jonah, and all the versions of herself she'd carried through other people's weddings, versions that smiled brightly, laughed at toasts, adjusted veils, and quietly tucked her own longing beneath layers of politeness and lipstick. She had always been the one people leaned on, the one who smiled from behind. But not here. Here, she had simply been seen. By late morning, the sky had clouded over. The kind of gray that wasn't sad, just soft, like the world was giving her permission to stay quiet. She wandered down to the back patio, where Jonah sat on the edge of the stone steps, hands wrapped around a mug, eyes turned toward the trees. He didn't say anything when she sat beside him. They didn't need to fill the silence anymore. It filled them. "I used to imagine what my wedding would be like," she said, her voice barely above the wind. "Not the dress or the cake, just the feeling. That moment where someone looks at you like they choose you. No more maybes." Jonah nodded. "I used to imagine walking away from mine." She looked over at him, surprised. He didn't look embarrassed, just honest. "I was engaged. Once. A long time ago. Not to Elena Somioni else. But I knew I wasn't ready. Knew it wasn't real." He exhaled slowly, steam curling from the mug. "But I almost did it anyway. Because I thought love was something you earned. By being good, steady, the guy who shows up." Elodie looked at him, soft with understanding. "And now?" He glanced at her. "Now I think love is something you recognize. Like a song you forgot you knew the words to." Their eyes locked for just a second too long. And then slowly, cautiously, he shifted closer. So close their shoulders brushed. So close her breath hitched when he tilted his head just slightly toward hers. The air between them changed, slowed, hummed. Elodie didn't move, didn't lean in, didn't lean away. Their foreheads nearly touched, a whisper apart, and then he pulled back. Just an inch, just enough. "I'm not rushing this," he said, voice low and a little hoarse. "But I'm not walking away either." She smiled, not disappointed, not yearning, just full of something that was finally hers. Maybe they hadn't kissed. Maybe they wouldn't for a while. But in that almost, there was everything. "So, Mashers, what do you think?" As Elodie and Jonah slowly untangle the past and step closer to something new, the next chapter is yours to help shape. Should Elodie finally kiss him? Should she receive a letter written just for her? Should they uncover a new secret in the garden that changes everything? Or should we add in the element of being asked to be bridesmaid number 8, with Elodie's frustrations about it? Comment below with what you'd love to see happen next. This sleep story unfolds gently over time, and your heart, your hopes, and your guesses might just guide where it goes next. Let the story dream with you. Good night, sweet dreams. Sleep well, Mashers. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks, Mishmashers.